Have you ever wondered what the world will use as a fuel source when there's no more oil left in the world? Ethanol is the fuel of the future that will replace the oil-based gasoline that we use today. Ethanol has changed the fuel that powers our cars forever. According to the Renewable Fuels Association, ethanol has helped lower gas prices by 25 cents on average. The industry has had a long journey from its start to now. I will cover how ethanol got its start, corn ethanol, and the future of the ethanol industry, cellulosic ethanol. Ethanol was discovered in the 15th century, not as a fuel source, but as a moonshine whiskey. It was first used as a fuel source in 1826. The first Model Ts ever to roll out of Ford Motor Company in 1908 were designed to run on 100% ethanol. But the owners of the Model T never used ethanol because of the lower price of gasoline and prohibition that came shortly after the Model T came out. In the 1920s, Standard Oil used ethanol to blend with its gasoline to increase octane and reduce engine knocking. In the 1940s, the U.S. Army built the first ever ethanol plant near Omaha to produce fuel for their Army vehicles during World War II. In 1975, leaded gasoline was being faded out, and ethanol became more popular to be used as an octane booster. In 1984, there were 163 ethanol producing facilities in the U.S. that produced approximately 595 million gallons per year. By 1985, only 45% of those 163 production facilities were still open due to low profits. In 1997, the major auto manufacturers began mass producing flex fuel vehicles that were designed to run on E85, which is 85% ethanol. In 2005, the Renewable Fuel Standard mandates that all gas must contain a minimum volume of ethanol. The Renewable Fuel Standard was expanded in 2007 to require 36 billion gallons of renewable fuels to be produced by 2022. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the U.S. produced 13.3 billion gallons of ethanol in 2012. Ethanol made from corn and other grains has been the main source since it was developed. Corn ethanol is the most widely used biofuel today. It is produced through a process of milling, cooking, liquefying, and distilling. The starch of the kernel is used to make ethanol, and the leftovers are made into distiller's grain, corn oil, and corn syrup. The distiller's grain is a very nutritious livestock feed that replaces some of the grain that would normally be used in their diet. Ethanol production is dangerous due to the handling of flammable liquids, but the employees are highly trained to deal with this dangerous liquid, and all safety precautions are followed. The production practices have not changed since the beginning, but the new technology that has been introduced has made it more efficient and easier. According to the American Coalition for Ethanol, 1 bushel of corn produces 2.8 gallons of ethanol, and this is increasing every day with the new technologies that are introduced. Due to the increased demand for food, research has been done to find new feedstocks for ethanol that doesn't impact our food supply. This is cellulosic ethanol. Cellulosic ethanol can be made from corn cobs, corn stalks, wood shavings, and basically any type of plant material that you can think of. The big part about cellulosic ethanol is that it can use waste products from other industries, such as wood shavings that are left over from making lumber out of trees. Cellulosic ethanol is more difficult to produce than corn ethanol and is also more expensive. Because of this, currently there are no large-scale production facilities in the U.S. The first large-scale plant will be opening in 2014 in Emmitsburg, Iowa, and they will be using corn cobs as their feedstock. The process to make cellulosic ethanol is turning the cellulose of the plant material into sugars, which are then fermented into alcohol and distilled to the fuel grade. There are no byproducts from making cellulosic ethanol. Since the discovery of ethanol, ethanol has come a long way and still has a lot of room to grow as we look for ways to produce more renewable fuels in the U.S. and throughout the world. Being the fuel of the future, ethanol has only just gotten its start and will grow rapidly in the future as oil prices increase. As oil becomes scarce in the world, ethanol will become the fuel of choice for Americans and people around the world.